tried to challenge him in court when he wasn't president. And guess what? He's president again and still standing. So how much power legally does a president of the United States have? Go ahead. Good evening.
Well, good evening, Rob. Thanks for having me. And let me tell you, a president has immense power, as most people probably expect and understand. Are there some limitations? Yes. Does the Senate unified have more power at times over the president? Yes. You know, presidents, though, I want to make this very clear, have been testing the power of the presidency since George Washington. And something that, you know, I always try to call them the balls the way I see them, but some folks have to really look back to President Roosevelt. President Roosevelt, just like President Trump, they can appoint Federal Reserve Chairman. They can appoint Federal Trade Commission. But what people don't realize is they cannot, under the current law, fire them. And this was tested back when Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he attempted to get rid of a gentleman by the name of Humphrey. And the case is called Humphrey's Estate because the FTC, Mr. Humphrey died while he was fighting this case in office. But as a federal trade commissioner, Roosevelt wanted to get rid of him. And so eventually the Supreme Court said, that's right, you didn't have the power, Mr. Roosevelt, to do that, President Roosevelt. But here we are now in a different time, in a different place. While it goes to the Federal Reserve Chairman, FTC, you name it. So what I think President Trump is doing consistently, methodically, because remember, he had 4 years when he first went in back in 16, and he was sort of getting his ball bearings about himself. Then there was all the craziness that happened. They were attacking him for 4 years while he was out of office. Now he's back in. So he is methodically challenging every piece of authority that he doesn't currently have under the law. And the United States Supreme Court is going to ultimately rule. And if I were to be a betting man, which I'm not, but if I were, they're going to be 6-3 opinions all day long.
All right, let's talk about Pam Bondi. A lot of respect for her and that position. He picked her. He must have seen something. What do you see?
I'll tell you, she is so impressive. I mean, I look at his last selection for United States Attorney, Bill Barr. He was good on certain levels, but Pam Bondi has it all. She is head of the whole Justice Department, which is so substantial. But not only does she have the ability to speak in layman's terms and clearly, but I heard behind the scenes, she's brilliant. She has the energy. She has the public persona. You know, what folks don't understand, particularly in politics, look at the last election, it's about messaging. And her messaging is spot on. But she also has, the pedigree. She also has the history, being the former Attorney General for the state of Florida. She has proven herself through and through. And the amazing part about her is she looks young. She looks very, very young, but she's early middle age. So she's sophisticated, but she's almost like a superwoman. I mean, this woman is unbelievably impressive, unbelievably.
I think he has learned a lot since that first term, and I think he knew that he had the confidence that he would get reelected. And he has spent a lot of time over the last 4 years preparing himself, and now he knows how to play the game, and that's why he's got the right pieces on the chessboard. I think he has done a lot more education as far as himself than many people give him credit for.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've said this on, I think, your show or other TV shows I've been on. If someone wants to claim they don't agree with Trump, fine. I might respect that position, but you're not a billionaire that's the president married to a supermodel by being dumb, okay? God save all men if that's the standard of allegedly being dumb. He's brilliant. And folks might not like what he stands for. They might not like his positions, but do not call him dumb. And he's had a tremendous amount of time over a tremendous amount of years planning for just this moment. And if you see not just the amount of executive orders, but he really is organized. Congress has passed all of his folks. There was one right off the bat, Matt Gaetz, who Pam Bondi, obviously, replaced very quickly. She was approved. But all of his persons that he has appointed have been approved. He has hit the ground running, and the press will even say, even the press that doesn't care for him, some of these ultra-liberal programmings, they'll tell you they can't keep up because it's just constant movement. And the country wanted to see that. And let's just touch on a subject because it's begging to be asked. You look at the tariff situation. The tariff situation, I hope people play this in a year from now. It was all to force the Fed to reduce the interest rates to ultimately pay down the debt. But what else it was to do was to bring back manufacturing to America. And it was not about anything other than fair trade. We have not had fair trade before I was born, probably the time you were born. It's horrendous. And so a year from now people say, oh, my 401k. Well, you're not going to go into your 401k tomorrow, okay? Most Americans don't even play in the stock market. The stock market's going to come back, and it's going to come back really, really well. I think people that just buy in now are going to be, in a couple months, just thanking everybody and everything. This is a time when you have to take decisive action, and he's telling the rest of the world, and they know he's someone who will stick. It's not just a negotiating tool. Guess what? The party days for the Chinese and India and a lot of these other big trading countries, Japan, one of the biggest GDP producers on the face of the earth, along with India and China, you're not taking advantage of America anymore. And okay, so we have a couple days or a couple weeks bad in the market. And the messaging, I thought, has been pretty good overall from the president's people. I think the president does a great job. I think the messaging could be a little bit more straightforward like I just presented here today, but that's just me talking.
I got to give you one more, and I got a couple of minutes before the break. Attorney Phil DiLucente, you are part of that Thomas Klein School of Law at Duquesne University. So I read in the paper, a lot of young people are going into, studying and hopefully passing the bar lawyers. We got Pitt, of course. We've got Duquesne, two of the most prominent anywhere in the country. Why do you think so many young people are looking to get law degrees to become lawyers?
I think it's always a personal choice, but if you really looked at the historical perspective, when I was applying for law school back in the mid-'90s during the Clinton era, there was a high amount of persons getting involved applying. So if you really would have to chart it out, but if you look at the economy, the better the economy is doing, the more applicants that there are. And so our economy is booming, and it's only going to continue to boom. And so when I had graduated in the early 2001, people, I had 5 interviews just for being a summer legal intern. And so I think we're going to start to see that more and more. And I'm just so excited. I'm telling you, this economy is going to take off like never before. I'm excited to be part of it in America.
And listen, I'm always excited having you on here. Very informative for my audience. Thank you so much, Phil. We appreciate you as always.
Well, thank you for having me. Have a pleasant evening.
The great Phil DiLucente. I love how he thinks.